Hi everyone, I am Olivia, and let's jump right in since I only got a few minutes. With regards to the Big Five, I talked to my mom and my sister, younger sister, to get different perspectives on that. Um, ver- Growing up with me versus having raised me. And both of them thoroughly agree that neuroticism does not apply, barring, typical teenage years. Teenagers, I think, experience levels of neuroticism no matter what. Um, I'm not a hugely self conscious person. If anything, I'm very self confident, and that's something that I have worked hard to develop over many years and many epiphanies, self realizations, and all that. Um, Extroversion, I can be very, very assertive. They both agreed that as a child, I was very introverted. I've opened up a bit more growing up and as an adult, but I still tend to be more introverted than extroverted. If you put me in a very, very social situation, I'm more likely to observe all the different personalities at play before I will actually insert myself into things. At that point, then I will be extroverted, especially if you get me on a topic that I'm very, very enthusiastic and passionate about. I can be very talkative when that happens. Um, Agreeableness, I can be very warm and kind when it comes to kids, especially. I work my local Renaissance festival, and my character is largely developed to interact and entertain children. The interactions I get from that are very, very something I hold very close to my heart. And I love that I can have a positive impact on them through that. Other than that, it largely depends on the situation. Um, from hearing stories about work, largely there are times where I cannot be hugely agreeable with my partners at work because I am in a leadership position, so I can't always agree with what they're saying. A lot of times I have to put my foot down and say, look, this is what the job entails, this is what you need to do. Despite your willingness to deal with the public or whatever the situation may be, it largely depends on the situation. Conscientiousness, they both had an interesting perspective that I am far more organized than I was as a kid. I agree that my personal space as a child was very accurately described as organized chaos. Through work and other experiences and just maturing and growing up into an adult, I've become very, very, very organized in how I manage things. I recently moved, and in the moving process, I managed to find stickers that had QR codes so that I could label every single box and know exactly what was in every box when I scanned it. Just to help myself know what box went into what room, what was in each box, things like that. Um, Mom had some interesting perspectives to share in how open I am to new experiences. About 10 years ago, I had the opportunity to travel abroad in Germany to study at the Music Hall School in Cologne. And she said that from her perspective, I had absolutely no hesitation to jump in head first with that. I went traveling to many cities by myself, cities that I didn't know, had done admittedly minimal research on, didn't even have a map, but I didn't hesitate to go and explore, and there was no getting lost for me. There was no such thing. It was just a new adventure. She and Dad had a lot of trepidation during that time because it was just kind of unleashing me onto the world, but it was just something that I fully embraced. There's a lot of new experiences. I love to embrace things. I love to see and learn. My interests are very, very diverse, and I am a very creative person. I'm a seamstress. Um, in fact, you can see this is what I'm making for my sister's birthday, one of my crafts. So, needlepoint. It's a T-Rex. Um, you can see from a lot of the artwork that's behind me, I have quite the hoard of that. I very much lack self-control when it comes to things that I'm very interested in. Um, as to normative and non-normative issues, for normative issues, we're all dealing with COVID. For me, again, I was a fairly introverted person beforehand, and COVID kind of just helped my hermit-like tendencies. Um, COVID started right when I started with ASU. So it kind of gave me the chance to not have a whole lot in the way of distractions from school. So I just had work and school to focus on at the time. And I did realize I had a bit of a social dearth in my life that I fixed by starting what I called quarantine cocktails with some friends, where we just got together over video chats and, drink or eat, whatever you want. And we would just spend hours either helping each other with schoolwork, having conversations, helping each other with personal problems, or just talking and having a great time, doing a movie night or something like that. And that's kind of continued. One of the non-normative issues I've been dealing with lately is a couple of months ago, I moved to a new city. And I do have some family here. I have a couple of friends, but I can count them on a couple of fingers, much less one hand. But again, I have so much time dedicated to work and school that I don't have much time for social life. During the semester breaks, I do take time to unwind and be social. During the next semester break, I'll be celebrating my birthday, so I'm already planning my birthday party. I'm also planning a camping trip as well with some friends. So I do make an active effort towards that, and that does help. And of course, I'll have the sporadic phone calls with friends from New Orleans that I miss. One of the other normative things that I've been going through on, let's say, a physical level, with the physical changes is I've been having gray hair since 21, but they've become a lot more distinct recently. And as you can see, I think I have some very, very lovely white streaks right here, which I think are kind of cool. But things like that I just embrace. I feel like I've earned them. So, yeah, those are just some of the things I wanted to cover, and I hope you enjoyed it. Have a good semester.